Hey everybody, it's Az here with Mythic Games at Essenspiel. The end of Saturday, Pitchvise have joined me for a quick chat about Solomon Kane. Thanks guys for coming along and thank you guys for watching. I thought I'd give you guys just a quick overview of where we are at with Mythic Games, where we're at with Solomon Kane. At the moment, the game's in Late Pledge and Pledge Manager, so people can still Late Pledge and back the game, and it's in sort of full-flung development at the moment. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to give a bit of an overview of what's involved in the game. So the core game of Solomon Kane is actually based on the original short stories, based on kind of the original English Puritan witch hunter Solomon Kane. Is a whole series of nearly 24 short stories. This book actually comes with some really nifty illustrations actually as well. And we've taken all of these short stories and what we've done is popped them into different Deathback Riders, for example, is one in our core box where we've pop them into games where players can cooperate together and collaborate together to play through the story, either on the path that the story leads them through, or diverging a path because they make different choices, or they do better, or they do worse. And what we have set up in front of us here is just one of our early demos. A lot of this is very much prototype, and this is Skulls in the Stars. We have a few chapter cards here that the players will play through, and depending on how well they play, you'll see different cards will resolve. So you see for Chapter 2, there are 2 different options with 2A and 2B. And as you diverge into Chapter 3, there are actually 4 different options you could potentially have. And this depends on a number of things, such as how well you perform and what decisions that you make. And then there's 3 potential outcomes at the end. And this is just 4 chapters, like 4 little sort of 15 to 20 minute, 30-minute sessions. And the idea is a whole story of Solomon called an act. Will be 10 chapters that you'll play through. But you can save the game, come back, you can finish at any point at any chapter. In this little demo, Solomon is actually trying to defend a lost traveler on the swamp from the tormented spirit of Gideon, this evil, cruel, menacing ghost with these tendril claws. But that's not all there is to the story. Solomon also wants to find out, because he's a Puritan man, he's a religious man, he's very just, why this spirit is tormented, why he was driven to turn to be a spirit in the first place. So not only does Solomon have to deal with defending the traveler from the ghost, he also has to work out the murder, to follow the clues and follow these exploration points that are going to lead him to what was the cold murder, who did it and what happened. What are the players doing? They have virtues around the board, and we can see here we have the Prudence virtue on the Prudence board. She represents Solomon's awareness of danger. We also have courage, we have justice, and we have temperance, and these virtues essentially will be guiding Solomon through the stories, and each plays asymmetrically. You roll dice. These are custom wooden dice, although we are using plastic in the final game, I have to say, for better or worse. And these represent bravery and fear. They represent pain, and determination, and also faith. These are the core pillars of Solomon, and they're used to activate cards. Whoops, if I can get that up. These cards will allow Solomon or the virtues to inspire Solomon to increase his compassion, or perhaps fight, depleting his strength but causing him to take down foes. And it's the virtues that the players control that allows Solomon to do things beyond what a normal mortal could do. We as players will have action cards. We also have base actions, so action cards and base actions that we can use all the time. We're also responsible for these tracks, which represent danger, represent Solomon's strength, and you're responsible for keeping those in a good place, otherwise Solomon could die from lack of strength, or if he loses his mind from clarity, he could go insane, essentially, if clarity was to go all the way down to 0.
The turn order, how does the turn work?
That's a great question, because basically every time you play a new round, you have these 4 turn order tokens. You can play with 1 to 4 players. There's a solo mode as well, so this can change a little, but generally speaking, you choose the player order at the start of each round. So you have to look at what cards and actions each person has available and what your objective is at the moment. So right now, we might want to move the traveler to safety. We might want to move Solomon and fight the ghost, or we might want to spend time essentially spawning and empowering the virtues to bring them into the ethereal plane. So we choose the order, and then we have to react at the end of a player turn to darkness. After every single player turn, darkness gets a turn, and darkness, in this little demo, primarily what it's doing is moving these shadows towards Solomon. They'll be closing in, trying to reach Solomon, and if they do, they trigger horrible events. Solomon doesn't even really know these guys are here. He can sense them. If he's fighting or talking or exploring and there's a shadow nearby, he'll have a negative modifier to his test because of that chill. But what the virtues are there to do is with holy light and power to essentially remove that threat, remove that darkness, that threat of evil, sacrifice themselves to take the virtue and the shadow off the board. They're there to buy Solomon the time to complete whatever his objective may be, from fighting pirates to taking down vampires, to solving a murder case, to going into a tavern and trying to find out information about smugglers. All the stories, because they're so diverse, you know, the Robert E. Howard short stories were so different. Every time you sit down to play this is a very different experience. The story you delve into will be a completely different game. So yeah, we're very happy. I mean, we did $1.1 million in Kickstarter, which was unbelievable. Like, we were so blown away by the support. It was great. The late pledge has also been quite popular. So we're hoping July, August next year, just about a year after the campaign ran, we'll start then getting this out to our backers.
And well, do you have it on retail?
So we do not have a retail plan for Solomon Kane. The license agreement that we signed for this, because it is a licensed product, it didn't allow for retail. We do have a retail pledge though. So if anyone has a friendly local game store or a club or community, they can contact us, myself, or retail@mythicgames.net, and we actually can send retailers copies of the game. But no, unfortunately there won't be a full retail distribution, so you've got to grab the late pledge. It's only open until roughly the kind of first week of November, 2nd of November I believe. So depending on when you guys are seeing this, get in there quick if you would like to check it out.